You know what's interesting? It actually even happened to me before I got to know you a little better. Is that I was more. I knew you better as as Jack. That must happen all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When people kind of run in, you know what I mean? They're more comfortable. Or they know you better as just as Jack Sparrow.
Sure.
Than when it's Johnny.
It's very strange. I prefer Jack.
Well, you don't have to stop playing him just because you don't have the wig on.
Well, no, that's sort of one of the occupational hazards, but also a kind of gift in a way. You know, you get to know these guys. You get to know these. You know, get to be these guys for a length of time, and well, you get to like them. You know, you become close with them. You know, and you get very comfortable being them. So what happens is, once you walk, the ties have been severed from the film. It's over with. You walk away. You're still walking around with that character inside of you, going from Wonka back into Captain Jack mode. Once again, it was quite a bit of distance to travel, you know. But you do, for that period of time.
Only go for 1 second.
You find yourself in life reacting as those characters, subconsciously. I mean, it just sort of happens, you know. Believe me.
Yes, it is.
Going to a restaurant and ordering food, subconsciously, and this sort of Wonka kind of stuff is really disturbing.
I think this will blow up my hand. It always does, huh?
It's like shaving your head every day. You're wondering if it's going to grow back. You know? Will I ever be me again?
We set about creating an 18th century pirate that looked like a rock and roll star. And when the wig went on and all the accessories, that's kind of what we got.
Well, this is Johnny's wig. It's generally his look hasn't changed for Captain Jack, and it's kind of frayed in places and aged looking so that it's not too clean. Remember, he's a pirate. And then this is, very nice. This beaded piece here, and this blue is a favourite of his. Always have to make sure that's showing in the shot. It's kind of specially made for Johnny, especially made in such a way that we can just put it on with the quickest time possible. It just fits on like a hat for him. And basically, most of the time, he's just held on with the scarf, except that it fits him like a glove, so it stays on his head.
Oh, we gotta have black. We gotta have black. More black there, more black here. This is an Ayurvedic stick that I had sent over from India. And it actually is supposed to help whiten the eyes while protecting them.
Well, I mean, with any character, you gotta throw your own sort of ingredients, into the stew pot. Like the black idea came from the sort of nomads, and well, Keith was being a nomad as well. But, the Berbers and stuff used to wear this stuff as protection in the desert. So I figured a guy being on the sea, it was almost like the football players of sort of modern day, wearing the black there as protection from sun reflection. The Berbers wear this stuff to, sort of protect their eyes. So I thought Jack would have all that actually. Having spent some time with Keith Richards, who was certainly a huge part of the inspiration, for the character, and he was definitely one of the main ingredients to the soup that is Captain Jack. And each time I'd see him, he'd have a new sort of thing tied into his hair, And you'd be like, what is that? And he'd go, oh yeah, I got that in Bermuda or wherever, Say, oh yeah. So I kept thinking of that, So it felt to me like Jack, on his travels and his adventures, he would either see something and go, oh yeah, I'll keep that, tie it in, so that each little trinket would have a story. Just above the bandana it's a shin bone from a reindeer. And I'd looked at all these various things to tie into my hair. As soon as I saw that, I thought it was very interesting because it's kind of slightly dangerous, But when they told me it was the shin bone of a reindeer, I thought, well, that's got to be it, because you know, the stories that he could probably tell of the experience with the reindeer would be too fun to pass up.
How did the gold teeth work?
Yeah, I just sort of went to the dentist and he bonded them. You know, he sanded down my teeth and put these guys on there, bonded them on. So once the film is finished, just go in there and he, some weird process where he pops them off. Yeah.
It's weird. Then you wake up. I guess it happened on one too. You kind of wake up one day, look in the mirror, and you're like, something's wrong. Something's missing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I still have. There's a couple of these are mine. These ones towards the back belong to me. So I have nothing else to go in their spot. I lost the other ones.
I'm just kind of tricking the eye here just so it appears that he has just a few more scragglers in here. So it makes it look just a little scruffier.
So I can't grow a beard. Just say it.
Is that going to be straightening?
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Yeah, we just started to leave them in. Because V has this unbelievable glue that, like, you could, like...
Semi-permanent.
You could glue a boat to water with this glue. It's pretty incredible.
Did you find it? I put it in your face.
These things have had many incarnations, the tingles. Remember, they started out with like, wires and paper clips and stuff.
Oh yeah, and I remember we were doing that scene when you were in the cell.
Yeah.
And we had the wires in them, and you lay down, they went like this or something. You're like crazy. We said, oh, okay, well, no more wires.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
Now,
what happened? It's loose. Why, do you feel something attached back there?
No.
Okay.
Sometimes you feel like a little ow, tweaky poo. Oh, that's good. Rockin'.
Rocket, baby. Let me get this one long bugger. Baby's back here.
No,
These don't need to be back here either.
No.
Don't duck.
Oops.
Adam's apple.
That's how you can tell I'm a man, isn't it? Adam's.
Yeah.
Hey?
All that eye makeup, you know?
Let me see your hand.
We wanted a little few points of interest. Now, this is one of the points of interest. This is a piece of old lace. And in a conversation with Johnny, we decided that it was a trophy piece from a young lady.
This ring right here is a ring that Johnny bought in 1989. He was doing a photo cover shoot for Rolling Stone magazine, and so he saw this ring, bought it at a thrift store, and years later when they go to do Pirates 1, this is the ring that he wanted to use. So this was Jack's ring in Pirates 1. One of 4 that he wears right now. Johnny has very strong ideas. He has a lot of eclectic friends that he comes across. This ring right here, for instance, is a replica of a ring that a friend of Johnny's had. It was from Greco-Roman, the Hellenistic period. It's about 2,400 years old, the original one. Johnny gave us the original one to make the replicas from, and we got it back to him. Ironically enough, that ring it's been lifted. It's missing now. So the only rings that are in existence are these right here. We have this one. I think we have a few others. But so this was an idea that Johnny had early on. Another one was this ring right here, which is getting pretty beat up. But he had this idea that he wanted to have a ring. He shagged a Spanish widow and stole her ring on the way out the door. So that was the premise behind this ring right here. This is the dragon ring. I don't know exactly where this ring came from, probably on some of his ventures to the Far East. But the interesting thing is when if you see him at Tia Dalma's shack, he's wearing this ring on his wedding finger, and he sees a bunch of jewelry laying out on the table, and he takes this off and he steals this ring. He does a little trading, and right at the last minute he goes and says, I can't lose this one too, so he keeps all the rings. So he carries 4 rings, most of P2 and all of P3. The first movie, the classical rum bottle that everybody sees are the onion bottles, is what they call them. They're short and round, and they're what we used in Pirates 1. This time around, Gore thought that he wanted to see something besides the onion bottle, and he thought that when it's in your hand or you're drinking it, that it was just something looked a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. It's what you expected to see instead of this round onion at your face with a short neck. You know, they're hard to hold, they're hard to grab, and they're kind of stubby.
Why is the rum always gone?
So what we did was we had, we've got shelves of them over there, but we had bottles hand blown of various styles. So you'll see 5 bottles mainly kind of rotate throughout the movie.
Hey-o, ho, ho, and a bottle of rum.
And then, you know, there's bar scenes, and they have to be breakaways. So now you have to mold these, you have to make breakaways. And then you need rubber bottles. So we have rubber bottles and breakaways of a lot of these.
Come on, who's fast?
I just wanted the pleasure of doing that myself.
Look. An undead monkey. Top that.
This is the Jack Sparrow pistol. This is made by a gun maker out of London. His name is Perry. You can see it says it right here on the gun. This is another piece that was purchased from Chuck Stewart. He bought a pair of them from a Connecticut antique dealer. This is around 1760s. I think that this is a beautiful piece. When you're shopping for antiques like this, the hard thing is trying to find a double match to it. And so when you go to purchase these and you can actually find a pair, that's a really big deal. And a lot of the stuff from Pirates 1 doesn't even exist anymore, so we're really lucky that the original gun and the original sword, both guns actually, are still in existence. We have to have various versions. This is the rubber version. This is a little bit of the paint's worn off, so it's not as close as we like it usually. But this is something if Johnny's fighting and he's on top of a wheel and we don't want him falling or hurting himself or something's uncomfortable. And again, most cases he prefers to use this one, but on the stunt guys we would, you know, put this on most of the time.
It's really cold.
It's a great gun, and again, when you hold this in your hand, you can feel the balance of it. There's a nice small grip in the back, feels good to the hand. Something interesting about all these is, you know, you look at a lot of these movies that, period movies that have guns and swords, and they're really fancy. They have a lot of fancy stuff and a lot of shiny chrome. And the thing that Gore has, you know, his track record is he likes simplicity. He doesn't like things that are going to be big and gaudy and a lot of bling on them, unless it calls for that. But in my experience, 9 times out of 10, when Gore's picking a prop, he's going to go for the beauty and the simplicity of it.
This is some poor unsuspecting